everyone, it's Christy here, and today we're going to be talking about the 5 areas or neglected areas that people normally don't put enough sunscreen or forget to put sunscreen on, and unfortunately, if you don't, it starts to show signs of aging. Hi, my name is Christy, and I have been treating clients for over 11 years, especially in the areas of acne, hyperpigmentation, and other skin conditions, including anti-aging. So today we are going to be talking about the 5 neglected areas that need more sunscreen. So the first one is around your eyes. So typically people put it around their eyes and they don't necessarily put it on their eyelids or right under their eyes, understandably so. However, especially if you wear eyeglasses or sunglasses and you have oily skin or you sweat, normally what you do is you're always putting your sunglasses up. And so what that does is it breaks down the sunscreen protection and it starts to rub off. So my suggestion for that is, and I know some of you are saying, but if I put sunscreen there, my eyelids become very shiny. So what you can do is you can actually put your sunscreen, number 1, use an oil-free sunscreen. Number 2, you can use a translucent powder on there to absorb the excess oil, and then layer on top of that a mineral eyeshadow, even if it's just a flesh-colored eyeshadow or a brown eyeshadow works best. And the way that you know that is because I work on so many different clientele who have different skin type is that as you get older, what happens is when you don't have that sunscreen there, obviously you do see the first signs of premature aging and fine lines and wrinkles and maybe saggy eyelids. But not only that, some people actually start to form freckling or, little lentigines or hyperpigmentation patches around the eyes. And so tip number 2 is the upper lip area. So when you're applying sunscreen, most of the time people don't apply on their lip, and if they do, depending on your morning schedule, if you brush your teeth and you're rinsing and then you wipe it off, or you eat and then you wipe it off. So a lot of times, even if people put any sunscreen on there, it gets wiped off fairly early. And if you're having lunch or you're eating a snack and you wipe it off, you don't have that sun protection factor. And one of the reasons that you know is that if you are in your early 30s or mid 30s and you're already starting to see the fine lines above your lip, it's because you didn't get enough sun protection factor. Because for most people, you should not be having those fine lines around your lip and around your eyes. It's too soon. So if you're not doing that, then make sure that you do it. Now here's a tip that I do. Because I'm always in a rush, is I leave the sunscreen right by the sink, and I am a germaphobe, so the last thing that I have to do before I leave the house is I always have to wash my hands, and then I put the sunscreen on my hands and my arms again, and then I will apply it on my upper lip. So that's like a crazy little thing that I do, but it does help. So that's one tip that you may want to think about. If you are finding these pro tips helpful, and you haven't subscribed, then please go ahead and hit that subscription button and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when we get our new videos. And basically, if you haven't been following us, we basically do videos on product reviews, ingredients focus, pro tips, as well as beauty news now. So please make sure to follow us if you are interested in any of those topics. Okay, so I also wanted to add a tip in there for the men that watch our videos, and one of them is for men. It's actually the tops of the ears, the back of the neck, and for those of you who have no hair on your head, it's also your scalp. You need to have extra protection because, it's exposed all the time. So that's why the men that I've treated over the years, some men, it's very common for them to get cancer, skin cancer, on the tips of their ears and the back of their neck. That's why the term leather neck, it's because it's years and years of the back of the neck not being protected. And for most men who have short hair, there is no protection from the sun. Okay, so for our final tip is the chest, the elbows, and the tops of feet, especially around the ankles, especially for those of you who live in warm climate pretty much all year round, because obviously the sun is out more and your skin is exposed more. So for the chest, a lot of times people will just stop at their face or even the neck, but your chest, like even just this regular t-shirt that I'm wearing, so you want to put sunscreen on your chest here. And how you know that you've had premature aging is that if you start to get the wrinkles that come down vertically, that's because you've had just too much sun there. And the skin on our chest is also thin. The other one is that when people put sunscreen on their arms, typically they don't really get the backs of their elbows too much. So what happens is that over time, the skin right here, because it's unprotected, it starts to sag. So you'll see a lot of the sagging or wrinkling right on the back of the elbow. The other one is on the ankles. Now, for those of you who live in colder weather climates, you're not going to see this because you're probably wearing shoes or boots most of the year. But for those of you who are wearing flip-flops or sandals or slippers, like we say in Hawaii, then you're going to see what's common is the sagging around the ankles or the wrinkling around the ankles and the side of the feet. So the other one I do want a bonus tip is the hands. People don't really think to put sunscreen on their hands. I actually put a travel size sunscreen in my purse so I can put it, because I drive long distance, so I put it on my hand. So that's another bonus tip. So if you haven't seen our anti-aging tips playlist, we're going to go ahead and include it up here or down below. So remember, makeup is an art and skincare is a science.